Embla Books presents The X, written by M.I. Hattersley and read by Hannah Genesius. Chapter 1. It was one of those evenings that got dark in an instant, the day turning to night before anyone realised. When Lucy Meadows had last looked up from her work, bright sunshine shone in through the office windows, but now those same windows were inky black squares, and the only light in the office came via the blue glow from her computer screen and the ones belonging to John and Paula. She sat back in her chair and stretched her arms up over her head. "When did it get so dark?" she said. John raised his head but didn't take his eyes off his screen or his hand from his mouse. "The nights are drawing in, my dear," he bellowed in a dramatic voice. "Winter is just around the corner." "All right, babe," Lucy replied. "Let's keep it light." John glanced over at her with a smirk. "Just saying, babe." Lucy shot him a grin. She called everyone babe these days, but it was a relatively recent addition to her vocabulary and symptomatic of living in East London and of working in the media. Back when she first moved here and caught herself saying it, she'd cringe a little, but now she hardly noticed. And with the number of new people she'd been meeting with lately, it meant she didn't have to expend extraneous bandwidth remembering everyone's names. She pushed back from her desk and scanned the room. She liked the ambiance created by the low glow of the computer screens. It made the sparse office space look more impressive than it was, and as though the work they were doing was of the utmost importance. So engrossed were they in what they were doing, they didn't even have time to walk over to the light switch. It would also save them money in electric rates, which, as a new design company struggling to hold their own against all the other design companies here in Hoxton, East London, was always a good thing. Lucy lifted her phone to her face and it lit up to show the time was 4 minutes after 7. She also saw she'd got a message, a thumbs up emoji and the words, "See you there, looking forward to it." No kisses, but that was okay. People use so many kisses in texts these days that they'd lost all meaning. She liked it when guys didn't type out X's like they were going out of fashion, because it meant when they did, they were more significant. Not that Lucy had much to go on, relative to this theory. Over the last few years, she could count on 2 fingers the number of guys who'd sent her romantic texts of any kind, with kisses or not. But that was her decision. She'd been putting all her energy into starting Bluefish Design. She knew that if they were to make a strong go of it, there wasn't time for romantic trysts or worrying if someone was going to text back or not. Those matters were trivial compared to the reality of keeping their heads above water as a new company in an already saturated industry. But they were making it work. Things were finally happening. As of a few hours ago, Lucy had signed her 5th client this month. A big job, too. A full rebrand, including logo and website design for a juice bar and wellbeing company based in East Finchley. It would bring in a lot of money to the agency and finally ease them out of the red with the banks. So, she deserved a little celebration, didn't she? Things were going well. She placed her phone down, resisting the urge to text back. It was now 7:10 p.m. She had hoped to go home and freshen up prior to the date, but that wasn't going to happen now. Thankfully, she'd foreseen this eventuality and dressed this morning in her good jeans and a nice top. And besides, this wasn't a date. It was just old friends meeting for a drink. No kisses, no romance, just a thumbs-up emoji and a catch-up. Still, as Lucy put her iMac to sleep and rolled her chair out from under her desk, she couldn't help but feel a brief pang of excitement. Maybe it showed on her face, because as she looked over, Paula was watching her with a half-smile, half-smirk dancing across her lips. "Are you getting off?" she asked. Lucy shrugged. "Yeah, can't be asked, really." She stood up and stretched her back. "I've said I would, though, so..." Paula nodded knowingly and shot her a wink. "Of course. Have a good time, won't you? Where are you meeting him?" "The White Lion, near Hoxton Square." At this, John looked up from his screen. Whether this was out of interest in Lucy's evening plans or the mention of a pub, she wasn't sure, but she suspected the latter. "Well done for today," he said. "You stormed that meeting." Lucy grabbed her coat from the back of her chair, trying to hide the grin spreading across her face. She had stormed that meeting. She'd smashed it out of the park. "And be careful," Paula said.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?